Happy fall, y'all. All right, I'm in my art studio and I just created this cute little scarecrow cowgirl. So we are gonna learn how to draw a scarecrow and we're gonna color her or him and paint and have a lot of fun with this project. So get your supplies and let's go. So to start our little scarecrow picture, we have some cute little scarecrows here. You want to be able to fit the whole scarecrow on your paper. So my paper is tall, vertical, and I'm gonna draw my scarecrow's head towards the top of my paper, but I wanna make sure I leave plenty of room for my hat. So I'm gonna take my hand and leave room for my hat, and right below my hand is where I'm gonna draw my head, okay? So I'm gonna draw a nice big U shape, like so. And I am going to think about whether I want my scarecrow to maybe be a boy or a girl, on how I draw my hair and how I want my hat to be. There's different styles of hats. You choose what kind of hat you want. Maybe you want a cowboy or a cowgirl scarecrow. That would be cute. I am going to draw a curved line at the top of my U. That's gonna be the edge of my hat. And then I'm going to draw another line right above that. It's parallel, they're not touching. That's gonna be the rim of my hat. I'm making a big cowboy hat. So you might try to do some different hats. And then I'm going to also take this line and I'm gonna curve it out and come around like a big backwards E and touch the cheek. Take the top line, curve it out and around and touch the cheek. Try to get them about the same size. And then the top of my hat, I'm going to do two lines coming up, and they're kind of going in a little bit, almost like I'm gonna draw an A. And then I'm gonna do a line, kind of like a wavy line. It dips down in the middle. You might do yours a little different one. Like this is a really old looking hat. This one's a really simple pointy hat, right? So when you're practicing, practice what kind of hat you want. I'm gonna make this a girl scarecrow, so I'm gonna draw a sunflower. So I'm drawing a big sunflower. Whatever you draw on your scarecrow, try to make it big and simple so it's easy to color or paint it in. And I need to get rid of those lines, but I'm using Sharpie, so we're just gonna leave them. And then I'm going to draw some scarecrow hair, and they have straw hair, so it's a little bit zigzaggy. So I'm gonna draw some zigzags for the bangs here, and I'm gonna give my little scarecrow some longer hair since it's a girl. Here we go, some zigzag lines, different lengths. So I have my head, hat, and hair. Now we need some cute eyes. What kind of eyes do you want? I have some big eyes with little white shines in here. Here, I just have some little dotted eyes. You decide what kind of eyes you want your scarecrow to have. So I'm gonna give her some big eyes here. And I'm gonna make sure I leave little white spots to make it look like the shines of her eyes. And I'm gonna color in. You might decide to do your eyes a little bit different. They could be little, they can be big. If you can see where the eyelashes are, then you can add eyelashes. Mine are kind of covered up here. But I'm gonna add some bottom eyelashes. Why not? You decide how your eyes look. All right, the nose, you might have a little upside down U for a nose. You might have a triangle. I'm gonna give mine a triangle here, my little triangle nose. And I'm gonna give her some cheeks. So I'm gonna put 2 circles for my cheeks. And I am going to make her smile. Now I am drawing little lines across my smile because scarecrows a lot of times are sewn together. So all of these lines are like little stitches there. I might add a couple of stitches here and there to make it look like a patch. Oh, she's looking so adorable. So on your practice paper, make sure before you do your final copy, paper, you practice, you can play around with different types of faces. And now I need to draw my Scarecrow's outfit. I'm gonna draw a line. Since I've drawn my hair, I don't wanna draw through my hair, but my Scarecrow's arms need to go out. They're sticking out the sides of him or her. So there's the top line of my arm sticking out. And then I'm gonna go down. There's the bottom of the sleeves. And I'm gonna come over. So I have a rectangle shape, but I don't need to draw this into the rectangle. And it stops right where the head starts. Do you see that? I don't want it to go all the way across because I need to draw her body. All right, and now I'm gonna draw another rectangle shape. I'm gonna come down and across. So there's her shirt and her pants. We wanna do, if you wanna do a skirt, you could do a skirt if it's a girl, or you can do pants. I'm gonna put pants on her because I wanna make sure to show you how to do the pants. So I'm gonna draw 2 lines that are a little slanted, so they're a little diagonal. 2 lines coming out. If I wanted a skirt, I would just draw the line straight across. But I'm gonna do pants. So right in the middle, coming down a little bit, leave a little bit of space. So I have about 3 fingers here, depending on what size. Yours might be different if you have a smaller Scarecrow. So right here in the middle, I'm gonna draw a parallel line diagonal this way and this way. So I have 2 legs, so it's like an upside down V. And there's the bottom of my pants. Now we need to add some hay, we need to design our Scarecrow, and we need to add the little stick that's holding her up. So I'm gonna draw a stick, or the pole that's holding her up. It needs to be 2 lines. If it's just 1 line, we can't color it in. So I have 2 lines, so I can color it in. I'm gonna add some hay at the end of her sleeves where her hands would be, and it's just a zigzag line. And it can be kind of a messy zigzag line, but make them big zigzag lines. This is the hay that's sticking out here because she's stuffed with hay. And here, and here. So at the end of her pant legs and her arms, her sleeves. And you could add some hay sticking out of the head, or you don't have to. That's up to you. I'm gonna add some hay sticking out around her head also. And then design the outfit. So this one, I had some checkered pattern, some crisscross lines here, and I have a vest with buttons and patches on the pants. This one I made real simple. I put a little ruffle at the bottom, or you could add hay at the bottom of the shirt. I put buttons and I put different cute patches all over the outfit. So you decide what you want your outfit to look like. I love the idea of adding hay at the bottom. So I'm gonna add some more hay here. And I'm gonna make this a button-up shirt. So I'm gonna add a line in the middle. And I'm gonna give her some buttons. I'm trying to draw big and simple so that I can color everything in really nice and neatly. And now I'm gonna add some little patches because Scarecrows usually have really old, worn out clothes. So I'm gonna add some little patches, maybe a big heart patch. I think that's so cute. A little patch here, maybe a little elbow patch here. Remember, try to make them big enough to make it easy to color them in. Maybe a couple of patches on the knees here. And these, remember, these little lines show that they're sewn on. Maybe one over here. And she is all drawn. Now we need to draw our horizon line in the background. So she is protecting some crops back here. She's gonna be protecting some pumpkins. So we need to show where the ground ends. This is the line that shows me that everything here is ground and everything up here is sky. And then you're gonna draw a sun. You could get creative and do a swirly sun, or you could do a big, pretty, simple sun. So we all know how to do the regular circle sun. If you wanna do that swirly sun, you're gonna have to practice this first. It's a big swirl, big and simple. Almost like a snail, right? Nothing's touching. And now we need to make it so we can color it in. So I'm gonna go right here and I'm gonna make it look thick. So I'm gonna do my line nice and thick so I can color it in. And then I'm going to put triangles as my sun rays. Look how cute that is, a little creative sun. In art, we get to make some things not really realistic, but you can definitely tell it's a sun, especially when we color it yellow. How cute is that? And then we can make some koosh ball clouds later in the sky. So you don't need to draw the clouds. We can paint those with koosh balls later. If you have a lot of room on your sleeves, this is optional, and you want to draw a cute little birdie, you need to draw it bigger than your finger, right? Bigger, that's definitely bigger than my thumb. So if you want to draw a little birdie, it's an oval above the sleeve, a circle for the head, draw it big enough to be able to color in, a triangle for the beak, then we have a little circle for the eye, and triangles for the wings, just like that. And then little feet is like 3 little toes, 3 little lines for the toes. And then I'm gonna draw little scalloped lines to make it look fluffy. So I guess my little Scarecrow isn't so scary, is she? She's pretty cute. Okay, now the last thing we're gonna draw before we start coloring and painting is we're going to draw some lines on the ground to make it look like a field that we are preparing for our crop of pumpkins. So you can use a ruler. If you need a friend to help you hold the ruler in place, you can do that too. So I put my ruler lining up right next to the edge of the paper, and I'm going to push it against the ruler, and I'm gonna start at the horizon line and go draw a straight line down. And then I'm gonna pick it up because I don't wanna draw a line through my Scarecrow. I'm gonna start over on the other side of the sleeve and go down. So I have a nice straight line. Now I'm gonna move my ruler over so that this side is touching the line I just drew. So I'm gonna move it over and I'm gonna draw a line here and all the way down, making sure that it doesn't go over my Scarecrow. All right, now I'm gonna move it over and I'm gonna touch the edge of the line to the side, this side of my ruler. And wherever I see ground, up there it is, I'm gonna draw a little line. So I just have a little bit right here because all of this is Scarecrow. And I'm gonna move it over, and I don't think I need a line here because the little pole is here. So I'm gonna move my line over this way and just keep doing this all the way across. So the edge of your ruler touches the line you just drew. So you have little stripes on your ground. I think I need a little line there. Okay, so I have all my lines drawn. Now I'm going to get my construction paper crayons. We're using construction paper crayons because they are softer and brighter. And I want you to color only the little details on your Scarecrow. So I have a flower in the hat. I have some little cheeks, a nose. I have some patches and some buttons in my hair and my hay here. We're gonna save the rest to color a special way. So I'm going to color all the things on my picture that would be hay. You could color it tan, orange, or yellow. I'm gonna go with the yellow for the hay. My hair is made of hay. So we're gonna color all that in. Try really carefully to stay in your lines and color nice and solid, taking your time. so now that I have all my little details colored in, my hat, my face, my shirt, and my pants, I'm gonna color with my special little texture. I call this my burlap texture here. So this is going to give it a really cool texture like it's made from the material burlap. So I'm gonna pick whatever color you wanna use. Don't use blue for the hat because then it's gonna blend in with the sky. And don't use green for the clothes because then it'll blend in with the ground. So I'm gonna pick a nice, maybe a tan or a peach color or a light brown color for the face, and make sure that the texture is underneath it, that your burlap texture is underneath it, and color just like you normally would, staying in the lines, nice and solid. Notice how I'm working on one little tiny section at a time. Color nice and neatly. So that's what you're gonna do for the hat, the face, the shirt, and the pants. Okay, so we did our texture rub on all the clothing here. We're gonna do one more texture rub for the sky. You are going to get a swirly, fun looking texture plate, and you're just gonna do the sky. So I am not gonna use the tippy tip of my crayon like I normally use when I write or color. I'm gonna use the side. So you have to have a crayon that has no paper on it, and you're gonna let it lay down on its side like it's taking a nap because we want a light rubbing. And I'm just going to lightly rub over my sky with a blue crayon, making sure I don't get it on my sun here. And we will paint over this later as well. So this is just going to create a fun little swirly pattern in the sky, so it's like a windy day. You want to make sure you move it around so that the texture plate stays under your crayon. And I'm pinching kind of hard in between my fingers. If you're rolling it like this, it's not going to do anything. So you want to pinch it between your fingers and move it back and forth. Okay, so now I have some watercolor paint. I'm going to paint my sky with my blue watercolor paint. So just go straight over everything you colored in the sky. It's gonna fill in all those little white spots and paint everything that should be blue all the way out to the edge of your paper. And carefully go around your sun, spreading out every little puddle. You don't wanna leave those puddles. So after I spread that out, I see there's still puddles around there, so I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna spread it out over here. Okay, and now we're going to paint the ground with two different shades of green. I have a yellow green and a regular green. I know it's really hard to see the difference while they're in the bowl, so I'll give you one at a time. So we're gonna start with this one. I'm gonna clean my brush off, and you're gonna paint every other stripe. So you don't want the green to touch that we're painting right now. So I'm gonna paint the first stripe. Like a bright, pretty green that I mix a little yellow in. So we're gonna paint this stripe with this green. Going around everything we colored nice and neatly. And now I'm going to not paint this one, and I'm gonna go to this one. You wanna skip a stripe. I get that little spot there, and keep doing this all the way across your paper. All right, So I have every other strip painted green. I'm going to wash my brush, and I'm gonna get my second color of green and paint all of my white strips. Very carefully. Now I have a little too much paint in that tiny spot. There's a little puddle there, so just be careful not to spread it out too far. If you do, it's okay. I'm gonna take my brush, dip it in that little puddle, so soak it up, and put it over here. And paint all your strips green. Now we are going to paint some clouds and some little pumpkins on the ground. So I'm gonna paint my clouds with the koosh ball. Most of my students have already done this before this year. So you just take your little koosh ball, you dip it in the paint, and then wherever you want your clouds, you just stamp them down, stamp, stamp, stamp. And I have a really big glob of white, so I definitely don't wanna add more white paint. I'm just gonna keep stamping it in that glob and spreading it out. So I might have, depending on how big your sky is, you might have 2 clouds, you might have 3 clouds, or you might just have 1 little cloud. So I'll put one over here, get a little bit more paint, maybe put another one over here on the edge. All right, maybe I have a little room over here, I'll put one over here. Sky is done. Now we are going to use our finger, and we're going to paint some pumpkins inside our pasture here. So our Scarecrow is protecting her pumpkins. So dip your painting finger, just one, into the orange paint. And we want our pumpkins at the bottom of our paper to be a little bit bigger than the ones that are way up here, because that means they're farther away. So I'm going to paint a big pumpkin down here. I'm gonna take my finger and just draw a little circle or oval with my finger. And then I'm gonna add just a little bit to each side. So it's like 3 little circles on top of each other, 1, 2, 3. And pumpkins can be really big, they can be small, they can be wide, they can be tall, right? So I'm gonna do a few about this size. They're not really big. We don't wanna take up too much of our picture. And I'm gonna draw my little pumpkins here with 3 little dots of my finger, little circles. Maybe one down here. And these are all around the same size because they're closer to us. So we call this perspective. When things look closer in a picture, they appear bigger. If they look smaller in the picture, they're farther away, right? So I'm gonna do one right here. Do not let your pumpkins touch. And I'm spreading them out. And then I'll do a nice fingerprint there. Now I'm gonna start making them just a little bit smaller because they're a little bit farther away. I think I'll get some taller pumpkins here, tall and skinny. So this one's just gonna be one little circle. We will draw lines on them, we'll outline them later. And we can also add little stems and vines to them with our colored pencils when they dry. So you can do them with 1 circle, or you can add 3 to them to kind of make them look plumper. And the farther back they get, the smaller they get. So I'm just doing my fingerprints now. And when they get really far, they're gonna be even smaller. So these are like the tippy tips of my fingers. And there's all my pumpkins. We just need to let these dry, and then we will add the final touches to them. Okay, now that our little painted pumpkins are dry, we can add our final touches. So you are going to get a orangish red, it's called poppy red, colored pencil, and you are going to carefully outline your pumpkins. I'm going right on the edge of my paint, and I'm pressing hard. And then you want to draw your 2 lines on the inside of your pumpkins. You might have to go over it a couple of times to make sure your lines show up, just like so. So I'm going to keep outlining all my pumpkins. So I have a circle on the center, and then I have 2 curved lines. I have a circle or an oval in the middle and 2 curved lines. Now the ones where I only did 1 fingerprint, I can just circle it and then do 2 curved lines on the inside. So circle it, line, line. Circle it, line, line. Keep going for all of your pumpkins. If you are really soft and don't press hard enough, you can barely see your lines. You want to press down a little bit so that your lines really show up. And now you're going to take a dark green color pencil and you're going to add your stem. So I have my little pumpkin stem here and a vine. So I colored it in nice, and it's just like a little rectangle. And then I'm gonna add a curly line sticking out of the top of each one. So it can be a straight stem or you can make it a little curved, but you need to make it thick. If you just do one line like that, I don't think it looks quite finished. So just kind of make it a little bit thick and add your little curl there. Just a little curly line. Not a super long one. These back here, we might just have one little line back here. And we are all done with our adorable little scarecrow. This was so much fun. Thanks for creating with me.